Subscribe my channel and press bell icon to get all notification.
Now we will discuss about next method of asexual reproduction, which is spore formation. Spore formation. This is again a method by which some organism can reproduce by asexual method. What is spore? First we start the spore formation. We need to understand that actually what is spore. Spore क्या होता है जिसके थ्रू कोई भी ऑर्गेनिज्म रिप्रोडक्शन कर रहा है. Spores are these some microscopic structure, बहुत minute size की microscopic structures होती हैं, and these structures are covered by some hard coat. तो hard covering से cover रहेंगी so that they can tolerate the unfavorable condition, and when the condition comes at the normal level, and or we can say that the favorable conditions come, then these hard structures break up, spores come out and they germinate like a seed of the plant. So we can say that spores are somewhat like the seeds of the plant. जैसे प्लांट का सीड होता है उसी तरीके से स्पोर होता है, बट डिफरेंस इज दैट they are covered by the hard structure which protect them by the unfavorable condition. Unfavorable conditions क्या हो सकती हैं, like lack of water, lack of food, or some temperature variations like high temperature or just a very low temperature. तो इस तरीके की जो अनफेवरेबल कंडीशंस होती हैं उनसे प्रोटेक्शन देने के लिए स्पोर फॉर्मेशन के थ्रू और बाय मेकिंग द स्पोर ऑर्गेनिज्म कैन रिप्रोड्यूस. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द मेथड ऑफ स्पोर फॉर्मेशन. This type of reproduction is found in some unicellular as well as some multicellular organisms. दोनों ही तरीके के organisms के अंदर मिलता है. Unicellular organism can also reproduce by spore formation और multicellular organism also can reproduce. तो दोनों ही तरीके के organism के अंदर इस method से reproduction हो रहा है. In the case of unicellular, the example of unicellular organism which can reproduce by this method is bacteria. Bacteria can also form spore and it can reproduce by this method. Whereas in the case of multicellular organism, the example is fungi. Fungi, which is a multicellular organism, and besides fungi, some another examples are also there, which are the non-flowering plants. Some non-flowering plants can also reproduce by spore formation. जिनके अंदर flowers formation नहीं हो रही, seed नहीं बन रहे, such type of non-flowering plants also reproduce by this spore formation method. Like examples of such kind of non-flowering plants, we can include the mosses and ferns, which you have already studied in your previous class. So what happens in this method? Here, our structure is formed into the organism where the minute structure spores are formed, and when this structure gets burst, the spores get released into the air, and wherever and whenever these spores found suitable conditions to germinate, they germinate and they form a new organism. इस तरीके से spore formation के through reproduction होता है. Examples हमने यहाँ पे जो बात की है, now we will discuss this method by taking the example of fungi. Fungi के cases में अगर हम देखते हैं, two important example of fungi are related with this process, that is Rhizopus and mucor. These are the two fungi which reproduce by the spore formation method. Rhizopus, which is a fungi, the common name of Rhizopus is bread mold. The common name that we use for the Rhizopus is bread mold. Bread mold. This is the fungi which grows onto the bread. You know, whenever you catch your bread at any place at for a long time, बहुत टाइम तक आपने कहीं पे भी ब्रेड को कुछ रख दिया है, after some time you will see that the here some cottony mass will appear. धीरे धीरे एक threads या white cotton जैसा mass इकट्ठा होता है, and suddenly slowly after some time it will become black. That structure which is growing on the surface of this cotton is nothing else, it's just a fungus, and this fungus is the Rhizopus fungus because it's reproduced by the spore formation method. These spores are already present in the air. Air में already present होते हैं, and whenever they found the food and another suitable condition, they land that surface, वहाँ पे land करेंगे and they will germinate and they will produce. वहाँ पे reproduction होगा. एक बार इसके structure से देखते हैं. If we draw the structure of Rhizopus, like Rhizopus has this kind of structure. It has some cottony mass, cotton-like thread-like structure, white thread-like structures, and it has. Let me draw it a little bit slower so that we can make it clearly. This is structure जहाँ पे क्या होता है एक cotton एक thread like white thread like structure present होती है and out of above this it has a rounded structure. यहाँ पे भी हम बोल सकते हैं here the mass of this kind of structures are found. This is the structure of Rhizopus or fungus which reproduce by this spore formation method. Now what happens here at this structure, these rounded bag-like structures, these structures are known as sporangium. Sporangium. This structure is known as sporangium. This is the structure where the spores are formed. Inside this sporangium, many thousands of microscopic spores are formed. बहुत सारे spores जो होते हैं वो इसी sporangium के अंदर form होते हैं and these are the spores which are released outside the sporangium when this sporangium bursts. Suppose this is the sporangium when it get mature. जब ये mature हो जाता है at maturity it get bursting होगी and after the bursting of this sporangium these spores are released into the air. Spores जो है वो air में release हो जाएंगे and they remain in the air at the time when they get the suitable food. जहाँ पे भी इन्हें food मिलेगा and favorable condition मिलेगी like water मिला, moisture मिला, water या moisture and they will get the proper temperature. At that place these spores will land. उस place पर ये spores land करेंगे. Like suppose if we take the example of bread. So this is the bread slice which is kept somewhere. These spores there after bursting from the sporangium, जैसे ही sporangium burst होगा, ये spores air के अंदर release कर दिए जाएंगे and they remain into the air. Air में fly करते रहते हैं and whenever they get the food, जैसे ही इन्हें food मिलेगा, they land onto the food. ये food पे land करेंगे and after landing onto the food they grow there. They grow like same parent plant. इसी तरीके से grow करेंगे and they will also make sporangium. ये भी इसी तरीके से sporangium form करते हैं. So this kind of structure is formed. इस तरीके की structure जो होती है हमें bread के ऊपर नजर आती है. This structure is of the Rhizopus of bread mold, where the bag-like structure is forming inside the spores are formed. This rounded bag-like structure is known as sporangium, and the rest this is filamentous, white filamentous structure. This is known as hyphae. इसे हम बोलते हैं hyphae. This is the hyphae. एक net-like structure present रहेगी filaments की. इन्हें हम बोल देंगे hyphae. And this is the sporangium. Inside the spores are formed, and these are the spores. These are spores, fungi spores. By this, they can do reproduction, asexual reproduction. So this is the way of asexual reproduction. It happens into the some unicellular as well as multicellular organism. Bacteria can also form such kind of spores, and mosses and ferns also can form such kind of spores. And these spores are after getting suitable condition. यहाँ पे ये बात याद रखने की है कि ये स्पोर जर्मिनेट तभी करेंगे whenever they get the suitable condition. And suitable condition क्या होगी? When they get the food मिलेगा, moisture मिलेगा, or we can say that they will get the water and they will get the proper temperature. When these things are available to these spores will germinate, and after germination they will form the same kind of structure, the same kind of parent plant. So this is the mode of asexual reproduction. In the next video, we'll discuss the next type of reproduction, next mode of asexual reproduction, which is vegetative propagation.